Thomas Markle Sr., Meghan Markle's father, is stricken in hospital fighting for his life in intensive care with a worrying new health development, which is that one of his legs has been amputated. Has Meghan Markle reached out? Let's get the views of Charlotte Griffiths, editor-at-large at the Mail on Sunday. Good morning, Charlotte.
Morning. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday morning. Huge pressure on the Duchess of Sussex to be seen to reach out to her father, who's fighting for his life. Has she yielded to the pressure?
She hasn't yet yielded to the pressure, but the thing is, this moment was always going to come. There was always going to be a moment where her father, who's getting on a bit and has obviously suffered health problems for years, there was going to be a point where something happened. And sadly, it has. He's had some sort of heart problem over in the Philippines where he lives. He moved there to escape it all. And now she's in this very awkward position where she doesn't speak to her father. He's on death's door. He was in intensive care earlier in the week. He's now stable. It was the front page of the Daily Mail. It was all over the papers. It's amazing she hasn't thought this through since her wedding in 2018. You know, she's had all these years to prepare for this moment, to reach out to her father, if nothing else, just for the PR. Okay, so let's pretend she's a cold-hearted woman who doesn't care about her father at all. She does care about her image. She does care about her reputation. She has just released a holiday video in which she talks about, you know, the power of togetherness and love and, you know, the season bringing everyone together. It is really mad to me that she has let it get this far. Of course, he made some massive mistakes, you know, the biggest crime of which was posing for photographs before the royal wedding. But, you know, he was all out at sea. This guy didn't know what to do. Nobody supported him. Nobody told him what to do when your daughter becomes world famous overnight and marries a prince. And I have to say, I just think the man needs help. He really needs a daughter to wrap her arms around him and help him. And she should have been there all along.
Yes, and Thomas Markle Jr., who's Thomas Markle's son and the half-brother of Meghan Markle, lives in the Philippines with Thomas Markle. And on his own YouTube channel, he's revealed that the two of them face enormous financial challenges. They really don't have much money. I think the apartment is $500 a month, which is all Thomas Markle Sr. can manage from his pension. Thomas Markle Jr. has got health issues. He's had pneumonia, possibly TB, bronchitis as well. So, you know, the two of them are struggling financially, health-wise, morale is low, and silence from the Duchess.
Yeah, and in that void, you know, Thomas Markle Jr. can't help but speak out to the press and the media and his YouTube channel. And Meghan's half-sister as well, with whom she's had this long kind of feud, also fills that gap and speaks. And really, it should be Meghan controlling the narrative on this one. And it should have been all along. And it must be, it's a really bad sort of cyclical problem, because what happens is Thomas Markle Sr., when Meghan first cut him off, kept speaking to the press and doing interviews with the TV because A, he was desperate to get through to his daughter and she cut off all his calls, and B, I'm afraid he did probably take payment for some of those interviews. Now, really, anyone as bright as Meghan, she is a formidable, bright woman, should have immediately grasped the nettle and said, right, you know, I'll give you a bit of pocket money, Dad. Please stop talking to the press. This is how we're going to manage it. Here's a team of PR managers. I think she's had 15 PR managers in the last few years. Any one of them could have helped him. And she just hasn't done that. And I just think it's a complete PR own goal. And obviously morally not ideal to be cutting off your father. And he famously carried on paying her student loan when he was out of work and she was working on Suits, her legal drama, getting thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds an episode. And now, of course, she lives in a, you know, $9 million house and is married to a prince and is, you know, raking in money from Netflix left and right. So, you know, to pass her through shekels on to Dad would be nothing to her.
Well, indeed, it would be a drop in the ocean. There are some media outlets suggesting that she has reached out. Does that story have any authenticity? They're not clear, these sources, whether they've spoken, but the Telegraph and the I paper are running with the suggestion that some rapprochement has been attempted. Are you hearing that?
I'm hearing that there hasn't been a direct conversation with Meghan. Now, listen, this is a moving beast, and of course, this all kicked off on Wednesday, and so it might be that some overtures have been made. For me, it just feels too little, too late. I mean, you wait until your father's leg has been amputated.
Yeah.
He's moved to the Philippines out of desperation. First of all, he moved to Mexico, then he moved to the Philippines, then he has another heart attack. He already had a heart attack on the eve of the royal wedding. He has his leg amputated. The PR pressure becomes too much, and then she gets sources around her to leak out a very woolly line about, how she's reached out, but we don't really know the specifics. And I will be working on this for tomorrow's paper.
Well, I know.
But,
I can't wait.
It feels to me too little, too late.
I cannot wait for your piece tomorrow, because you're always number one with the royal exclusives, Charlotte, and it's very useful for my YouTube channel, which is based around royal news and entertainment, the Mark Dolan Show on YouTube, if you're interested in the royal stuff. Charlotte, briefly, if you can, Princess Catherine shows us how it's done. Oh, we've lost Charlotte. There you go. She's just dropped off. But listen, Princess Catherine has shown how it's done, because her Christmas Carol concert yesterday was absolutely majestic. It was a celebration of Christmas. It was a lovely occasion. And there is a member of the royal family that totally understands the gig, knows what a dignified princess looked like. And that is Catherine, and that is most certainly not Meghan Markle.